Yeah, he really shined. There's nothing else you can really say about that. I agree with you. Oladipo increasing from a player scoring in the teens at best to an over 20 point a game scorer, a leader of a team. He can do it all. We saw some incredible flash from him with some nice style points on his dunks, pulling out a 360, then going to the dunk contest. A little bit of disappointment there, but you gotta like it. Just a great season from a great player who we really didn't get to see. Before we move on, I kind of want to touch on that fact we didn't get to see in Oklahoma City. Now, it's kind of a debate. You talk about before we saw Durant leave, automatically wins the title. Yes, he joined the Warriors. Harden leaves, he becomes infinitely better. Now he's an MVP. You see Paul George go from the Pacers to the Thunder to Julian Westbrook. His stats all decrease, and they don't do as well. Do you think, nothing against Russell Westbrook, incredible player, once-in-a-lifetime kind of player, but do you think there is the Russell Westbrook effect in Oklahoma City?
Okay, this is kind of corner. I don't think that there is an effect until last year.
Yeah.
Because Russell Westbrook was really good teammates with KD, and they worked really well together. Oladipo just wasn't getting enough minutes. That's not Russ's fault. That's the coaching staff's fault. And I mean, I can't blame them because you can't blame them because I mean, this guy is young, and you don't play him as much because you have Russell Westbrook, and he's off the bench, and he doesn't have a lot of experience. So I mean, any player would go through that unless you're like a star coming out of high school or college. So I think that, sure, last year, I mean, Russell Westbrook does kind of diminish the stats of others, but that's a sacrifice that you're willing to take, especially, I mean, we're going to talk about this later in this episode, Paul George staying with Oklahoma City, and the risk that they're willing to take to play with Russ and play on a team that's really contending in the West. That's a risk that I would be willing to take, and I'm sure that a lot of others would be also. If you're able to team up and match up well against the best teams in the NBA, I can take a 5-point hit. How much did he lose? How much does Paul George lose in his stats?
I think it was 3 points a game, 4 points a game.
So there's really nothing. There's not anything. I don't think this is a problem. You went from leading your team, and I mean you can't really be mad. You went from leading a team in Indiana to playing with a team with 2 other stars. I mean, Carmelo's not really a star, but I mean, you can't expect it. Not anymore. Sorry, you can't expect to have the same stats on a team that's stacked than on a team where you were the only person there.
I think that being said, I really do believe in the Russell Westbrook effect. I think it's his team, and he kind of refuses to move away from that. You're talking about a team who, with Russell Westbrook 2 years ago, went to the playoffs. He had triple-double MVP, incredible season, and we were like, wow, this team is good. And then we saw the addition, you bring in Melo, you bring in Paul George, and immediately we're like, wow, this is a team that could win it all. Yet they finished with almost, I think, the exact same record.
They won one less game. They lost
one more game than last year.
Yeah.
Just logically, what kind of sense does that make? Where you take a team that was already a well-oiled machine, you break away some of the scrap pieces, and you bring in one but really superstar in the NBA, and one kind of like, eh. But
he's still a star.
Yeah, sure. A solid role player, definitely. So, it bugs me. This is a team that definitely should have done better than they did. And I think we chalked it up at the first bit. Oh, well, they're still just trying to get to know each other. But at some point, you know each other, and you're just not good. And I'm not... Clearly, Westbrook and Paul George have good chemistry. Paul George making the decision to come back. But why? I strongly believe in the Russell Westbrook effect. Everyone who's left has done better without him. Nothing against Westbrook, but I don't think that he's a team player in the sense that you can build a franchise around him. I feel he is the franchise, and there's nothing more that can become of that. All right, well, now that my rant is over, let's move on to Lou Williams, Sixth Man of the Year. What's your point of view on that?
I'm tired of hearing Lou Williams being a sixth man. And I'm sure, you know what? I think he is also. I think with the numbers that he had and the performances that he had this year, he probably thinks he should be a starter. And he's old. And get him out of the league. Because I don't want to hear another sixth-man award go to this man. I'm sorry. Nothing against him. I just can't. Sixth-man award is kind of like you're not good enough to be a starter, but you're pretty good on the bench. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So, is it really an award? I think it means it's kind of like a participation award. Hey, you tried to be a starter, but you're not good enough. And this sixth man on the Clippers.
Yeah.
On the Clippers.
I think there's a certain level of respect in the NBA for sixth men. I think when it goes to a young guy, people are.
It's almost
looking...
mocking them. Sorry. It's mock. It's a mock.
I disagree with that, but I think when you give it to a young player, like you saw Harden get it, that's kind of like a look. This guy is good, and he will be even better.
Yes.
But when you give it to a veteran, I feel like it's like,
you tried.
I don't know if it's necessarily you tried, but I feel like it's. Well, for starters, Lou Williams should have been a starter. You are 100% correct. I don't know why he wasn't.
For benchers.
I don't understand why he wasn't. Solid player, definitely deserving of the starting role. So yes, I don't think he should have been sixth man, but not because he didn't deserve it, but because I think that he shouldn't have been in the situation where he was up for consideration. I think if you're looking at sixth man, Eric Gordon should be sixth man. I know he won it last year, but this year you look at him in the playoffs and what he did for that Rockets team against teams like the Warriors, just keeping them in games. It's just a different level than I think you would see from Lou Williams, who basically came off the bench as another starter for the Clippers.
I think Eric Gordon deserves to be a starter on his own, but I don't know if you can stretch him to the 3, to the small forward, and that's why they don't start him.
No, you can't, which is why, but I think I don't know if he should be a starter, but I definitely think he's worthy of sixth man. I think he should have gotten it. I don't think Lou Will should be a sixth man. I think he should start for the Clippers, especially... Nothing against the Clippers, but they really sucked. Okay? And
they're about to lose DeAndre Jordan.
Well, yeah.
We'll talk about that.
But, at that point, just start Lou Will. Don't keep him with this six-man shit. Just let Eric Gordon get his award for actually deserving it.
And soon enough, like in the next couple of years, if Eric Gordon keeps winning the sixth man, it will be the Lou Will situation. Because Lou Will... Or Eric Gordon was drafted in 2008. And if he keeps getting sixth man, that means he's not really progressing. It's kind of the same situation as Lou Will. But you ready to move on to free agency?
Yeah. Speaking of DeAndre Jordan, we will move on to free agency. Though we're not going to start with him, because we are going to start with the man of the hour, the man of the summer, LeBron James. Now... Nothing is finalized yet. Nothing's been signed on the dotted line. We're talking about this before July 6th. So everything that we talk about from here on out is not signed on the dotted line, but is definitely poised to happen.
And since that something happens all the time, we need to say that we're recording this on the 1st of July, and it's 3 p.m. Pacific time. So if anything happens after this and we didn't cover it, then that's unfortunate. Anyway, let's get started.
All right, so LeBron James coming back from his fabulous vacation in the Bahamas. Oof, jealous. You see him landing at the Van Nuys Airport near LA. Reported to have a meeting with the Lakers, and today had a meeting with 76ers representatives.
In LA.
What do you see happening with LeBron James?
In terms of timeline, I think that we will hear from him very shortly. Players don't necessarily like to stretch out their free agency. If they know where they're going to say it because they want to get accustomed to the team and start getting set up before the NBA season starts.
Yeah. You got to develop that chemistry.
Yeah, exactly. And you said history repeats itself. I believe that LeBron James was he notified like everyone in the world where he was going on either July 8th or July 10th or July 6th, somewhere between July 6th and 10th, and so I think we can hear something in the next week, if not the next couple of days, and I think that he is going to the Lakers. I think he shouldn't. I think he should go to the Philadelphia 76ers. And Adam, you agree with me?
Of course I do.
The Lakers have the most money, and that's what he's looking for. And the Philadelphia 76ers do not have that type of money to offer him.
Speaking of the 76ers, they are in talks with the San Antonio Spurs about trading for Kawhi Leonard. Now,
wait, Adam, what are the chances of this actually happening?
Decently high. The 76ers have pieces to move.
They said that they are not willing to trade Ben Simmons,
Joel Embiid, and Markelle Fultz. Those are the untouchables, in the words of...
Look,
76ers.
I hope this doesn't come back to haunt me, but I think Markelle Fultz should be traded. He should be a trade piece.
I don't agree with that. But...
I hope this... Okay, this sounds weird. I hope it comes back to haunt me, and I hope he's successful. And I hope he's the Ben Simmons type of situation. He won't win... Well, maybe he will win Rookie of the Year if he plays well next year. But he has to fix that shot. Make it not... Make it...
broken.
Yeah, make it not broken. And he should have confidence in himself. But I don't think that he is I don't think he's untouchable. I think that he should be touched. No, let me rephrase that. I think he... I think that he should not be an untouchable. He should definitely be a piece, especially if they're looking for a trade. They should be willing to... I get it. They don't want to trade Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid. You can trade other pieces, too. I think Robert Covington is more of an untouchable than Markelle Fultz at this point in time.
I think Fultz... you've seen the videos on Instagram. You've seen them everywhere. He's been working on his game. He's definitely a talented player. Had a little bit of a rough patch last season. I think that they believe that he will evolve into a player that we haven't seen yet. So I think that's why they have him as an untouchable. That being said, I do think if you're trading for Kawhi Leonard, just give him the damn rookie. Like, who gives? I mean,
you're getting Kawhi Leonard. What the
to a point, just ditch the guy and get Kawhi Leonard. That being said, nothing's finalized. We don't know if they will end up working out a deal. Let's say they do, and you ship a bunch of role players. My bad, JJ Redick, but you're really not there anymore. Let's say they give up Robert Covington, you bring over Kawhi Leonard. And LeBron still has not made a decision yet. Does that impact LeBron's decision between, let's say, the Sixers and the Lakers?
I don't think the Sixers can get Kawhi and LeBron. I don't think... I'm not aware exactly of their situation on the cap. But I don't think... maybe if they're able to get a trade, I don't think that they're going to be able to get both of them. If they can, that's going to be... That is going to the finals. I don't care if you have Gordon Hayward, Kyrie Irving. Doesn't matter. You have Ben Simmons, LeBron James, Kawhi Leonard, Joel Embiid, and whoever your starting point guard is. That is a good team. That is taking you to the finals, and that is matching up against the Warriors.
Well, I mean, we'll be honest. JJ Redick, free agent now. That's $23 million in cap space right there. And Robert Covington has a lot of money right now. They're giving him a lot. $63.5 million guaranteed. So, if, getting rid of Redick, if you can find a way to
Never mind.
Covington.
You can trade Covington. Then you can probably get away with getting LeBron and Kawhi, right?
I definitely...
$63 million, that's good for 2 years.
Yeah. I mean, if you can get rid of Redick And Covington, I mean, Joel Embiid's making a lot of money, but